Have you ever walked away from a conversation only to have it replay in your head for hours or even days? You remember every sentence, every pause, every awkward silence. You think about what you should have said, what they might have meant, whether they secretly judged you. Maybe it was a meeting at work, a text message that sounded different than you expected, a joke that didn't land, or a simple conversation that everyone else probably forgot 5 minutes later, but your mind didn't. It kept playing the same scene over and over, searching for something. What's strange is that you already know you can't change the past, yet your brain refuses to let it go. If this happens to you, it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't even mean you're simply an overthinker. It means your brain is trying to solve a problem that may not actually exist. And once you understand why it does this, those endless mental replays begin to make much more sense. Most people believe they replay conversations because they care too much about what others think. While that's part of the story, it isn't the whole story. The real reason is more subtle. Your brain hates uncertainty. When something feels unresolved, it keeps searching for answers. Imagine leaving a conversation unsure whether someone was annoyed with you. Did they sound different? Were they disappointed? Did that pause mean something? Your brain doesn't like unanswered questions, so it starts investigating. Except, it has very little evidence. Instead of facts, it uses imagination. It fills the gaps, often with the worst possible explanations. This is why a 5-minute conversation can become a 3-hour mental movie. Your brain isn't trying to torture you. It's trying to create certainty. The problem is that certainty rarely comes from replaying memories. Psychologists call this rumination. Rumination is the tendency to repeatedly think about the same event without moving toward a solution. It feels productive because you're thinking, but thinking and solving are not the same thing. Imagine sitting in a rocking chair. You're moving constantly, yet you're going nowhere. Rumination works exactly like that. Your thoughts stay active, but they never arrive anywhere. There's another reason your brain does this. Humans evolved to learn from social mistakes. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by your group could threaten your survival. Your brain became extremely sensitive to social interactions. Even today, your nervous system often treats awkward conversations as if they're much bigger than they really are. A simple comment from a coworker, a delayed text reply, a strange facial expression. Your brain asks, did I damage my relationships? Because relationships have always mattered for survival. Modern life changed. Your brain didn't. Then comes another psychological bias called the spotlight effect. We naturally assume other people notice us far more than they actually do. You remember that embarrassing sentence because you experienced it. Everyone else was busy thinking about themselves. The conversation you're replaying, there's a good chance the other person barely remembers it, yet your brain treats it like a defining moment. At first, replaying conversations feels harmless. It even feels responsible. You tell yourself you're learning, trying to improve, trying not to repeat mistakes. But there's a hidden cost. Every replay strengthens the emotional memory. The more you revisit an awkward moment, the more important your brain believes it must be. It becomes easier to remember, harder to forget. Soon, your confidence begins depending on imagined opinions instead of real experiences. You start speaking less, questioning yourself more, editing every sentence before you say it. Eventually, conversations become stressful before they even begin. Not because people changed, because your expectations changed. There's another consequence most people never notice: mental energy. Your brain has limited attention every day. When hours are spent replaying yesterday's conversations, that's attention you can't use for today's opportunities. Instead of planning your future, you're editing your past, and the past never accepts edits. The first step isn't stopping the thoughts. That's almost impossible. The goal is changing your relationship with them. Instead of asking, "What did they mean?" try asking, "What evidence do I actually have?" This simple question interrupts the brain's habit of filling uncertainty with assumptions. If someone looked serious, that's evidence. If you conclude they secretly dislike you, that's a story. Most overthinking comes from confusing stories with facts. Another helpful shift comes from something psychologists call metacognition, thinking about your thinking. Instead of becoming trapped inside the conversation replay, notice it. Say to yourself, "My brain is replaying this because it wants certainty." That small sentence creates distance. You become the observer instead of the participant. And once you create distance, you gain choice. You don't have to believe every thought simply because it appeared. There's another powerful realization. People spend far less time thinking about you than you imagine. Not because they don't care, because they're busy replaying their own conversations. Everyone is the main character inside their own mind, just as you are inside yours. Here's something you can try today. The next time you catch yourself replaying a conversation, grab a piece of paper, draw 2 columns, label one, facts, label the other. Stories under facts. Write only what actually happened. The exact words, the observable actions. Under stories, write everything you've assumed. They probably think I'm awkward. They must be disappointed. They're judging me. Most people are surprised by how empty the facts column is, and how full the stories column becomes. That exercise teaches your brain to separate reality from imagination. And over time, the replay begins to lose its emotional power. Conclusion. Your brain isn't replaying conversations because it enjoys making you anxious. It's replaying them because it's trying to protect you, trying to avoid future rejection, trying to understand uncertainty, trying to keep you socially safe. But protection can become a prison. The more you analyze yesterday's conversations, the less present you become in today's. The goal isn't to stop caring about people. It's to stop giving imagined thoughts more authority than real evidence. Because most conversations don't define your future. Your response to them does. So the next time your mind presses replay, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, am I remembering reality? Or am I editing it with fear? That single question might be the first step toward finally letting the conversation end. Not in your memory, but in your mind.
So, friends, your time matters, your mind matters. Keep choosing growth. If this story moved you, a like or comment means a lot. And if you are new here, welcome to Mind Thrive. Subscribe and stay inspired.